So originally, I told myself that I wasn't gonna read tonight or today or in general, but I decided I wasn't gonna be lazy and just sit in my bed and watch Naruto all day. So I'm gonna read for 20 minutes and then watch Naruto. Ah, all right, let's get to these pages. Where was I? I think I was at the beginning of this page. Yo, the fact that I have to take a deep breath to fucking start reading is so crazy. All right, let me start my 20-minute timer. Imagine two people resisting a cigarette. When offered a smoke, the first person says, "No thanks, I'm trying to quit." It sounds like a reasonable response, but this person still believes they are a smoker who is trying to be something else. Mm. They are hoping their behavior will change while carrying around the same beliefs. The second person declines by saying, "No thanks, I'm not a smoker." It's a small difference, but this statement signals a shift in identity. Smoking was part of their former life, not their current one. They no longer identify as someone who smokes. Most people don't even consider identity change when they set out to improve. They just think, "I want to be skinny," outcome. "And if I stick to this diet, then I'll be skinny," process. They set goals and determine the actions they should take to achieve those goals without considering the beliefs that drive their actions. They never shift the way they look at themselves, and they don't realize that their old identity can sabotage their new plans for change. Behind every system of actions is a system of beliefs. The system of a democracy is founded on beliefs like freedom, majority rule, and social equality. The system of a dictatorship has a very different set of beliefs, like absolute authority and strict obedience. You can imagine many ways to try to get more people to vote in a democracy, but such behavior change will never get off the ground in a dictatorship. That's not the identity of the system. Voting is a behavior that is impossible under a certain set of beliefs. A similar pattern exists whether we are discussing individuals, organizations, or societies. There are a set of beliefs and assumptions that shape the system and identity behind these habits. Behavior that is incongruent with the self will not last. You may want more money, but if your identity is someone who consumes rather than creates, then you'll continue to be pulled towards spending rather than earning. You may want better health, but if you continue to prioritize comfort over accomplishment, you'll be drawn to relaxing rather than training. It's hard to change your habits if you never change the underlying beliefs that led to your past behavior. You have a new goal and a new plan, but you haven't changed who you are. The story of Brian Clark, an entrepreneur from Boulder, Colorado, provides a good example. "For as long as I can remember, I've chewed my fingernails," Clark told me. "It started as a nervous habit when I was young and then morphed into an undesirable grooming ritual. One day I resolved to stop chewing my nails until they grew out a bit. Through mindful willpower alone, I managed to do it." Then Clark did something surprising. "I asked my wife to schedule my first ever manicure," he said. "My thought was that if I start paying to maintain my nails, I wouldn't. I don't like the thought of chewing your nails. That shit is gross. I wouldn't chew them, and it worked, but not for the monetary reason. What happened was the manicure made my fingers look really nice for the first time. Damn, they ain't make them look like edible type shit. My manicurist even said that other than the chewing, I had really healthy, attractive nails. Suddenly, I was proud of my fingernails, and even though that's something I never aspired to, it made all the difference. I've never chewed my nails since, not even a single close call, and it's because I now take pride in properly caring for them. The ultimate form of intrinsic motivation is when a habit becomes part of your identity. It's one thing to say I'm the type of person who wants this. It's very different to say I'm the type of person who is this. Damn. The more this is facts. This is definitely all true. I don't know. I be getting so fucking wet when this nigga just be writing this shit, bro. Like, ugh, fuck yeah. The more pride you have in a particular aspect of your identity, the more motivated you will be to maintain the habits associated with it. If you're proud of how your hair looks, you'll develop all sorts of habits to care for and maintain it. If you're proud of the size of your biceps, you make sure you never skip an upper body workout. If you're proud of the scarves you knit, you'll be more likely to spend hours knitting each week. Once your pride gets involved, you'll fight tooth and nail to maintain your habits. Okay, but like, never mind. True behavior change is identity change. You might start a habit because of motivation, but the only reason you'll stick with one is that it becomes a part of your identity. Anyone can convince themselves to visit the gym or eat healthy once or twice a week, but if you don't shift the belief behind the behavior, then it is hard to stick with long-term changes. Improvements are only temporary when they become until they become a part of who you are. The goal is not to read a book. The goal is to become a reader. I'm becoming a reader. No, I am a reader. Fuck wrong with you. The goal is not to run a marathon. The goal is to become a runner. The goal is not to learn an instrument. The goal is to become a musician. Your behaviors are usually reflections of your identity. What you do is an indication of the type of person you believe that you are, either consciously or subconsciously. Research has shown that once a person believes in a particular aspect of their identity, they are more likely to act in alignment with that belief. For example, people who identified as being a voter were more likely to vote than those who simply claimed voting was an action they wanted to perform. Similarly, the person who incorporates exercise into their identity doesn't have to convince themselves to train. Doing the right thing is easy. After all, when your behavior and your identity are fully aligned, you are no longer pursuing behavior change. You are simply acting like the person you already believe yourself to be. Like all aspects of habit formation, this too is a double-edged sword. When working for you, identity change can be a powerful force for self-improvement. When working against you, though, change can be a curse. Once you have adopted an identity, it can be easy to let your allegiance to it impact your ability to change. Fuck, how long? I'm sorry, I shouldn't be looking at the timer. Oh fuck. Whew. Many people walk through life. It's not even like I don't want to read it. It's just like for whatever reason I'm running out of like breath and like my mouth is getting hella dry. Many people walk through life in a cognitive slumber, blindly following the norms attached to identity. I'm terrible with directions. I'm not a morning person. I'm bad at remembering people's names. I'm always late. I'm not good with technology. I'm horrible at math. And a thousand other variations. When you have repeated a story to yourself for years, it is easy to slide into these mental grooves and accept them as fact. In time, you begin to resist certain actions because that's not who I am. See, I feel like I don't feel like this aligns with me, bro. I feel like sometimes I just do shit like because I be like, nah, I want to do this. You know what I'm saying? There's internal pressure to maintain your self-image and behave in a way that is consistent with your beliefs. You can find whatever way you want to avoid contradicting yourself. The more deeply a thought or action is tied to your identity, the more difficult it is to change it. It can feel comfortable to believe what your culture believes, which is a group identity, or to do what upholds your self image, personal identity, even if it's wrong. The biggest barrier to positive change at any level, individual, team, society, is identity conflict. Good habits can make rational sense, but if they conflict with your identity, you will fail to put them into action. I actually think I needed to hear that. I'm not gonna lie. Like today, I was thinking, like I feel like I be having good ass ideas for skits, but I never like post them. Like I kind of my social media presence like outside of like YouTube is kind of like non-existent. And I feel like I need to start being more consistent on all. Bro, I'm tired as fuck. I'm not even gonna lie. Like wait, I don't need to be reading right now. I'm tired of shit. Like y'all hear me talking, but I'm doing it though. All right, I'm gonna read for 10. We gonna go for 10. Hold on. Pause this bitch. Pause this bitch. We gonna go for 10. Alright? Cause my nigga, why not read for 10 minutes, bro? I can do 10. On any given day, you may struggle with your habits because you're too busy or too tired. That's so fucking funny, bro, because literally that's what's happening right now. Or too underwhelmed or hundreds of other reasons over the long run. My eyes. Over the long run, however, the real reason you fail to stick with habits is that your self-image gets in the way. This is why you can't get attached to one version of your identity. Progress requires unlearning. Becoming the best version of yourself requires you to continuously edit your beliefs and to upgrade and expand your identity. So don't box yourself in. Be outside the box. This brings us to an important question. If your beliefs and worldview play such an important role in your behavior, where did they come from in the first place? How exactly is your identity formed? And how can you emphasize new aspects of your identity that serve you and gradually erase the pieces that hinder you? Alright, I'm gonna finish this page. The two-step process to changing your identity. Your identity emerges out of your habits. You are not born with preset beliefs. Every belief, including those about yourself, is learned and conditioned through experience. More precisely, your habits are how you embody your identity. When you make your bed each day, you embody the identity of an organized person. When you write each day, you embody the identity of a creative person. When you train each day, you embody the identity of a big person. The more you repeat a behavior, the more you reverse the identity associated with that behavior. In fact, where identity was originally, fuck you, nigga. I'm not reading all that, bro. I can't even fucking talk. Sometimes y'all there's gonna be days where you go to the gym and you can bench press 250, right? And then there's gonna be days where you go to the gym and you can only bench press 150. But the important thing is that you showed up to the gym. And that was my reading session today. I bench pressed 45. I bench pressed the bar. I couldn't get more than the bar today. I'm cooked. Like literally, me talking right now is like crazy. Chad, I'm cooked. Alright, bet. So, yeah, that was like, this is day 7. Oh,